more of a story time format than or live stream story time type of format, as opposed to a video that's all edited. Because I do maybe want to make another edited video in a few days. I'm thinking about washing my hair with just the Alethea shampoo. Now I have the Alethea hand lotion, which I really love because in this weather my hands are so dry. I feel like I have to put lotion on my hands every 5 minutes or something. And I used to love Palmer's. I used to love Palmer's coconut oil shampoo and conditioner, but I really love Alethea because they're very sustainable, and I just think they're really cool that they promote um, small business women in Africa. It's just a really cool brand. I get it at Sprouts, by the way. I also bought at Sprouts um, this tea tree oil, which I've been pouring into my scalp many days, and it's already gone. Over 3 weeks, I poured so much of this into my scalp just on a daily basis. I love this tea tree oil, and yeah, that's just what I've been doing. It's a little bit different, but just things that I kind of do as I go along. If something seems interesting, I do it. So anyway, today what I want to talk about is why I don't think you have to wear your hair loose, or why I don't personally like to wear my hair loose. So I kind of like to talk about things where people should stand up for themselves at all times and be strong people and never let someone put them down in any way. And I know people think that they can express their preferences towards someone else, but you don't get to do that, okay? I'm not saying you can't just say somebody looks nice a certain day, but this is what I hate. Look, sometimes women do it too, because I've had a lot of stories. Why did I start a long hair channel? Just because the social pressure years ago, where women because I was always kind of the more quiet woman, and I would have a couple of female friends. And as time has gone on, I've found more women I can connect with and be friendly with. But for some reason, I always ended up in these groups of women that were very competitive with each other. I don't know. And they always had to do one-upmanship of each other. And one of the things that they would like to do towards me would be well, why do you have long hair? And just kind of just cruel things, or just just because in a group, some people like each other more than others. And sometimes it would be with a group of women where you weren't one of them. You weren't one of the social ones that wanted to go out and say here's the thing about group dynamics with women, and I know men do it in their own way, but the thing with women is sometimes women wanted to just kind of say mean things about other people, and when you're not kind of part of their dynamic or you're not part of their group, they want to let you know it. And I don't really care, honestly, because I kind of will be cordial to people, but I don't want to be part of an in group. And I think after high school, it's kind of weird that anybody thinks that they are. So I just kind of started making hair videos about that. But there's something with men, they'll be nice. They'll be oh, you look really nice when you're not wearing your glasses. You look really nice when your hair is loose. And I'm that's another thing, though. I don't subscribe to it. If anybody tells me, you look really nice when, being the key word, I just don't care. It's just the men, when there was this one guy that would say, oh, your hair looks really pretty, but then one day, the day of being outside and stuff, my hair was a little windy on top, and he said my hair looked messy, and it didn't even look messy. I don't do that. I will not put up with people that put you down. If somebody is nice one day and then the next day they say something kind of snarky, or they play this little mind game, I don't put up with the narcissism. My mind, has skyrocketed in the last few months in realizing, yeah, I won't put up with narcissism. Just a guy that would say, I'm going to play mind games with somebody and ignore them for a while and let them stew for a few days. And I'm no, you are narcissist city. I don't do it. I don't put up with it. So I just go my own way every day. And when I'm around situations like that, I'm not going to always confront people, but I'm just going to kind of not respond to them. So when guys kind of have this hegemony, and I'm not into sexism, but the hegemony of long hair, the long hair hegemony, where they think that you need to wear your hair loose at all times, and they don't really realize that women need to contain their hair most of the time if they want it to be healthy. Like there are women that wear it loose, but those are the women that complain a lot that, oh my God, my hair gets stuck in door jambs and gets stuck on things. And, you know, I have nothing against that if you just want to wear your hair loose all the time. But let's be honest, they're part of that long hair genetic lottery where if their hair gets stuck in a door jam or they step on it and it's loose everywhere and flowing everywhere, their hair's going to grow like a weed. And my hair grows pretty fast. But I'll be honest with you, my hair started growing longer when I stopped wearing it loose all the time. Like when I was a kid, I did wear my hair in a braid, but I wore it loose a lot. And that was the game changer for me because I realized I have wavy hair. I can't wear it loose all the time. Like I know some people say like with curly hair you can, but your hair won't grow beyond like a certain point because it will peak to be tangled. And it's just tricky to take care of it. If your hair is getting tangled and you have to keep manipulating it, no matter how fast your hair grows, that causes some damage. And I feel like some people, they want that aesthetic of being outside with their hair loose more than they want to just treat their hair well. And here's another thing too, we don't know how many of those people are wearing hair extensions or that's their real hair. Like some of them may be their real hair, but there is a lot of hair extensions. There's a proliferation of hair extensions. There's a hair extension industry that has normalized hair extensions, which really still bothers me because unless it's synthetic, it's unethical. Can I just say it? Unless hair extensions are synthetic, they're unethical. That's my belief, you know? Truly. Yes, braids for me too, because like with wavy hair, if I wear my hair loose all the time, like, oh look, okay. A few years ago, when my hair was shorter and I wore it loose all the time, I would get like a tangle in the back of my hair, and my hair would start curling up. And I'm like, I don't want to play tangle wars, you know. And look, I have a tangle teaser. It's somewhere down in here. I have lots of brushes. I have the tangle tamer. And I have a lot of other brushes that need to clean. The tangle teaser might be, oh yeah, I have it. Okay. So I have like the tangle teaser, and people are like, you could just brush your hair with the tangle teaser or whichever brush it is, and you can get the tangles out. But I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, look, I'm tired of all this talk, like what you should do, like this is how you should be, and there's a lot of just like misinformation. Like I like social media, but I don't like when topics hegemony in social media. Like I will still post on Instagram, but I like to post to sunset, and I don't care if it only gets 10 likes. I like posting that more than on my hair channel because on the hair channel, like it's just this little demographic that unless you're posting like the most valid kind of long hair, like when it's loose outside of the wind, it's not as exciting. And I don't care. Like I'm not here to cater to the contest because I don't have a contest mindset. And if they don't like it, like I don't have any clues for them. So like I would always get, like I'm still gonna post pictures of things that I like pertaining to long hair, and if after I wash my hair, I'll have it loose. But I just want to be really honest on my channel. Wearing my hair loose all the time would be a world of trouble for me, and I started having so much more ease with managing tangles when I stopped sleeping with my hair loose. Like I used to mostly sleep with it in a braid, but I noticed like if I went a couple days, like you know, a few years ago, maybe I could kind of get away with it. Now that my hair's shorter again, maybe I could, but I don't want to wake up at 5 in the morning and have a big tangle in the back of my hair. And I don't know, me and my dad, like we have wavy curly hair. We get up in the morning, and if it was loose, it's tangle fest, and I don't want to be a tangle. I don't want to play with tangles all day. Like some women, they walk around and they have a brush in their bag, and they're always like doing things with their hair. But that would like drive me nuts and bananas because I have this philosophy. I need to get my hair detangled and into one style at the beginning of the day, and it's set in that style all day. I don't want to play around with my hair constantly when I'm out and about. And also post-COVID, you don't want your hair going everywhere. Like if you're in public, and I know they said that COVID doesn't get transmitted in your hair, but just I think it's probably best Not to have your hair in a style where it's like flowing around. Well, here's one example. Like one of the few times I wore my hair loose. Like, I don't know, when I went somewhere with my dad, he got stuck in my hair. Like somehow he got stuck in my hair and I didn't like that. And then another time I went with him to a Shakey's buffet and some people were freaking out because my hair was like flowing and I just don't want to deal with these situations. So like all these people who think hair loose is like just the most valid form of long hair, I'm so over it because all they really want out of long hair is the idea of it. They don't like long hair in everyday life. They only like the idea. This is true, you know? I have these two brushes, but honestly, I just like the wide tooth combs better. Like this one's pretty good recently, and this one, like these two. So yeah, and if it does come down to brushes, like my favorite brush is actually this brush, the Eco Tools paddle brush, because it's more bendy. I think this brush is better for my hair than this one and this one. Although I'm thinking about maybe getting the tech brush next, like as if I don't have enough brushes. I don't know. I might not. I think I have enough combs and brushes in my life, so we'll just see about that. But yeah, I just am tired of like you must wear your hair loose. This is the most valid way to wear your hair, and it's the only way that long hair is valid. And the people who say long hair is beautiful when it's loose, or you look so beautiful when your hair is loose, like it's kind of like stupid sauce, applesauce. Because people look beautiful however they feel good. It's your preference. Don't tell somebody that. Ding dong. The end of the story. Like I'm just tired of that, and I'm tired of like people thinking that they get to decide what long hair validity is. Men with short hair who don't have long hair, who don't have a clue, no clue in the sky. You know, I'm fired, and I'm going to tell you, you don't have a clue, buddies. You don't have a clue because you think that long hair is more valid when it's loose. A lot of people like to wear their hair loose. I don't because I hate tangles. And I don't want to be playing Tangle Fest, Tangle Club. And then other people who do wear their hair loose, they like to put it in a bun more, but that to me causes anxiety because I just want my hair in a braid and I don't want to play around with it all day, you know? So if you want less long hair anxiety, I say opt for braids over buns. Like, but that's just my opinion, you know. Everybody has their own little opinion in this long hair world, and just like life, just like social, like one thing that COVID taught me is there really isn't a group of people that are more socially adjusted than others. A lot of it is a social construct, like because with lockdown, a lot of things that people used to say were socially important all of a sudden changed. And these people that were like the social go-getter types got to make the like rules about what people should be doing. And I'm like, why did they get to decide? Like, here's an example. Like, these people would always say, oh my gosh, you have to go to all the social events. Like, you must be seen. And I always thought that was kind of silly. I'm like, I'm more introverted. I don't know. Like, I can talk to people, but I don't want to go to all those events. I think some of them might be boring. And then when the pandemic started, they started saying, oh, well, you need to do the events, but they have to be online and they have to be on Zoom and nobody can see them. But get this, like a lot of us people that do YouTube, we were always doing like Zoom and stuff, and people would kind of like say, oh, live stream, like they're nerds on the internet. And I'm just like, but now everybody like jumped on that bandwagon because of the pandemic. It's just like funny, like how something that only a few of us, but to be honest with you, it doesn't really bother me because I just keep doing my own thing. Just like with hair. I'm always going to do my own thing. And I love the beauty of long hair. And I love long hair validity for you, not the way that some guy says, like, and I'm not bagging on guys. Like, in general, I think most guys that love long hair are cool. Very cool. But the ones that think that they get to decide, like, how you style your hair, no, they don't. They don't gonna tell you. Like the ones that are like, your hair would look so much better when can you try all these different styles, please? And that's fine if you want to. Like, if you want to try many different styles. At the beginning of my channel, I was a little bit more open to that because I thought, I guess, like, oh my gosh, like, I need to try these things. Like, but there was literally this guy that would tell me that people would like my channel more and like my content more if I did different styles than what he thought I should do. And I did this really beautiful braided bun, and he said to me, well, I don't like braided buns. That's not a valid bun. It needs to be a bun with a hair stick. And I still have never really been a super fan of the bun with the hair stick. Like, I did that video with the colored pencils, and it's cool, but I'll tell you what, even when I went out, it had to be a braided bun, like a couple times with chopsticks, and it really didn't hold. Like, the chopstick fell out as I ran across the intersection. Long hair truth. And somebody had to pick it up for me because they found it because it bounced off the pavement into the bushes. Okay? So a lot of those styles are not practical if you walk, if you move a lot, and things like that. Like, I'm just honest with you. Like, they might be practical to some point, but it depends on, like, how much walking and movement are you doing. And I just always wore my hair in a braid. I've been wanting to do slightly more creative braids, like 3 braids in a braid. But you know what? That style took a long time. This week I was doing my hair in double braids because I cut my hair subdivided like that. Partition was I love the way that Indian people say, like, hair is partitioned, like, into 2 sections. I love that because it literally is a hair partition, and I've seen that, like, description in videos, and I'm like, that usage of the English language is just very beautiful and very precise. And I sometimes, like, divide it into 2 sections, partitions. It's a very beautiful description of, like, what hair. But it also, like, makes me think of, like, the Indian British Empire being divided into Pakistan and India. It's kind of a funny description, but it's so true. Like, it's a fun use of the word to part your hair, partition of your hair. Partition, part is a short version of partition, so it's accurate, Indians actually use a lot of the old British usage that's much more, like, precise, old-fashioned English usage, whereas American English does have a very much more casual, although I do use a lot more. My usage of English is interesting. Like, sometimes I just pick up words in the English language that might be more British use, that might be more precise, more old school. I use whatever word I want to use, okay? That's just how I speak English. And even though I have a California accent, sometimes people are like, the way you said that, you sounded kind of Canadian. I said, I don't know, sometimes my accent will just pronounce certain words in a way, like, or it just comes out that way. I don't know, that's just how I talk. Like, I feel like accents can be kind of fluid too with the internet. Like, you could be listening to a lot of different kinds of videos, and maybe you pick up a certain kind of accent that you like. So before I braid my hair, I always like to put on a lot of this lotion on my hair, the everyday coconut one, just because my hands get so dry. Like, I swear, every 5 minutes I could be. And yes, I have sideburns, which might be being part Middle Eastern, like, just more hair in general. And there would be guys that would tell me, you need to push the sideburns behind your ear, and just, like, things like that. I'm like, what the heck? No. I don't need to do that. You can do that. And look, I'm not anti people expressing their preference, but that's not why I want to have a long hair channel. I just want to share how I like to wear hair. So I'm tired of this, like, long hair hegemony where it's more valid if you wear it loose and you only post pictures of your hair loose, or you're just so, like, oh my gosh, you can only post the most perfect, like, photograph of your hair, because you have to be so curated life and curated hair and curated everything. I'm just like, no, I'm not a robot, and I'm not a script, and I'm going to go off script. I deviate from your script. And people don't like it when you deviate from the script, because then, I don't know, but I kind of just decided recently I don't have time for it. I will look at things I like. I will post what I like. People might not like it, but some people like it. But what I'm saying is it might not be as popular. But you know what? I think, honestly, this is my truth. You have to do what is right for you, and you have to like do things in a way that feel right for you, and then that's what's gonna work. Like that's what's gonna stick. And I really want us to start saying no to people who say you look better when, or people who tell us one day something nice, and then the next day they kind of try to like tell us something we did wasn't right. Like, like I just think we need to stand up for ourselves more, us quiet people. Not that I'm super quiet, but I'm not like this outgoing personality type. Like I'm not like a social butterfly. But like I said, I feel like the pandemic canceled a lot of that out because all of a sudden the social butterflies, the ones that were smart that didn't want to get COVID decided, well, we don't really want to go out anymore. We want to stay home. We want to do this. And all of a sudden it was okay because of COVID. But before COVID, it wasn't okay. And I'm just like, why are they going to make the rules? And it basically highlighted what I thought about social skills, what's awkward and what's not. Actually, yeah, I've had like people who, when I think back in hindsight, who are truly just kind of creepy people, like tell me, oh, you seem awkward, but like it's this one guy, he's kind of a creepy person. Like when I think about it, like he would say things to me like that looks awkward when, and like he wanted to try and make me feel bad or something, and he could never understand like. But I learned over time the best thing is to never talk to people like that. Like anytime somebody like tries to make you feel like you didn't do something in a way that they like, they're a control freak. And you take it back just by going quiet on your Western front, and you have nothing more to do with those people because they're not good people. And I'm going to always preach about that. I'm always going to say, stick up for yourself, be a person that takes pride in who you are. Don't let people make you feel like, because there's a lot of people in this world, they want to try and mess with your self-esteem. Like, I think that's where a lot of self-esteem issues begin, because we have people in society who want to let people know that they are not as savvy as them and that they do things better, but that's not indicative of somebody who actually has social graces. Like, for example, like people I know that had real social graces, they would talk about being kind or maybe like keeping it humble. And they were just very dazzling. Like they had beautifully dazzling personalities, but they weren't above like talking to anyone. They weren't the kind of people that were like, well, I can't do an interview with you because I'm too important. No, they had time to talk to anyone. Like the celebrities that you hear about that are actually truly ingratiating, they would just talk to anyone. They weren't like above, like talking to someone like, oh, I'm a king and a queen, or, So I guess basically what I'm trying to say is don't acknowledge people that put you down in any way or that try to mess with your self-esteem in any way, because it's a game. Like only somebody who is insecure themselves is going to do that. And I've always known that, but sometimes in practice, like when you're encountering people who do that to you, you're like, it kind of makes you feel like, oh, like they want you to doubt yourself, okay? They want you to feel a twinge of self-doubt because they get a high off that. There are some people, they feel good when they try to bring others down. But a truly secure and happy and content person never tries to bring someone down. So I even feel like sometimes when people say, well, your hair would look so nice when it's loose, maybe it's their preference, but maybe also too, they kind of just want to mess with you a little, I think they just see someone being happy. And this is the way I view like social media and content YouTube. I just like to share my experiences in a happy way. And if it resonates with you, we can have a conversation. And that's how I view it. I'm not here to like go to other people's channels and be like, oh my God, like you wear your hair like that. I think it would be better if you wore your hair like this. No, I don't have time for that. So I I kind of like, if I encounter it, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, you need to just not acknowledge it. And I see some of it in real life too, because I guess like I've just been exposed to people who do this boastfulness online and in real life, and sometimes I get the real life equivalent of like that bragginess on social media. It's weird, like when you're like, yeah, I see it too, but I think it's like you're getting more of it on social media these days because people can't do it as much in person as they used to, unless I guess the lockdown just never applied to some people in a way. Like it kind of was surprising to me, even though some city government and county and places were closed and meeting places. Apparently, a lot of restaurants were still open, and there were people just walking the Shakey's last night as I was walking home. Like, I don't know. There's no Omicron. It doesn't exist, and they're just eating at like all the close corners. They're just eating pizza, and they don't seem too worried. Like they're not worried. No, they're not worried about getting it. Like they're just all like in there, and I'm like, wow, okay. It just kind of surprised me because I'm like, I guess I've been surrounded by people that are like really wanting to be careful and not get it. And like I've talked to a lot of people who don't want to get it, and then there's people that are just eating the pizza and hobnobbing, and yeah. Hi, how you doing? I did think about like what you said about the just egg. I think maybe if you try, like if I tried it in French toast or something, because whose channel does that? Oh yeah, a natural vegan. Like she made the she took just egg to make French toast, and I was kind of thinking maybe I would like it that way. Like I was thinking it might have a. So I was thinking if I try it again, maybe I want to do something like that with it, like more savory, like a baked thing. Because you were mentioning with baked things, so I was kind of thinking about that. I was like, maybe it would be good in a baked type thing. So I think I should try it that way. So yeah, I just feel like people should wear their hair the way they want, and like I also too, I think maybe I'm the kind of person that maybe gives too much credit to things people say because like I'll even mention things people say, people will be like, I don't care, and like oh because you mentioned something someone says, like they're like it's just not even on their radar. They're like, why are you even thinking about it? I don't care about that. They'll say, and I'm like, okay, so maybe I think too, like sometimes when I get a lot of comments about what they people think I should be doing with my hair, maybe I just it sticks in my mind too much. But I just, yeah, I got a lot of that though on my channel. A lot of people are like, why is your hair not loose like at all times? As if that's like how women really walk around with their hair just loose everywhere at all times. Oh yes, one of my favorite YouTubers in the vegan community, a natural vegan. Shout out to Unnatural Vegan. Like, if you are plant based, if you're vegan, she has a lot of good ideas. One thing I love about her channel is like she has pointed out it's okay to eat the vegan mock meats because I have all my life. Like, look, I grew up vegetarian and we eat Morningstar Farm stuff, and people like in the vegan community like, but that's not 100% like natural. But if you look at the back of the packaging, it's pea protein, and I'm not saying eat it every day. But a lot of people on a plant-based diet don't get enough protein. So yeah, like she'll actually use some mock meats, and people get really mad or they think she should only use chickpeas or something. But I guess like she was watching Greg Doucette's channel, and he's like a bodybuilder. And what he did is he would make like these protein French toast and just use eggs. So what she did was she's using just egg on it. And instead of putting maple syrup on it, because she was trying to eat less sugar, I think she put some vegan yogurt on top. And it just looked kind of good. So I thought, well, maybe I'll try that. Like, I don't know. I might use real syrup, but the whole idea of making the French toast with just eggs seemed kind of cool. Like, I was just thinking about it. But yeah, if you guys are looking for vegan like ideas and you're a new vegan, like you're not a new vegan, but people that are new vegan, I do recommend her channel because she goes into like the science of veganism, and she's not all like she's actually like it's okay to eat fat and protein, like because there's a lot of vegans out there that are like, oh my god, you can't eat any fat and protein, and I'm of the realm that I do all three of the micronutrients. I don't just take one. And I think that's why I stayed vegan since 2014. I've been vegan, like, I'm a long hauler vegan. And yes, my hair grew on a vegan diet. Like, when I had my mega hair growth, it was, yeah, and then during the pandemic, my hair was really growing, and the only thing that kind of slowed me down was silly henna treatment that kind of went awry. But like I said, I don't know if I want floor length hair. That's another thing too I've been thinking about lately. Like, it seems cool in theory, but in practicality, I don't know. Do I want to grow my hair longer again, but I don't know if I'm ever gonna like get to the floor. I think it's really beautiful if people do. I might get there, but the fact that I kind of didn't and I tried last time makes me think, I don't know. We'll see. I was really close, right? And I'm just not sure. Like, I think it's really beautiful. I just don't know, like, if like I will make it there or not. We'll see. But I do think, like, that's another thing too. I really admire people who have floor length hair. It's really beautiful. But a lot of guys, like, they get mad at you if your hair was almost there and then it's not there anymore. And I don't need that hate either. And recently I went and I deleted a lot of those comments on Instagram about the guys that got mad because, oh, I cut my hair back. I don't have time for that either. Like, so and I tried not to, and I could have just covered that up, by the way. Well, my mom's theory was that I should just delete my YouTube channel, not have one anymore, because she really hates. She doesn't like social media. Well, she thinks, like, this is my family's thought. I thought I could have a YouTube channel if I just did cooking or art. Like, it had to be very narrow in their mind. And I'm like, well, I'm not them. They don't want to be online. So they need to just, that's another thing too when it comes to other people's opinions. I told my family I'm going to do what I want, and I actually have looked for people in real life, in my daily life, who wanted to be doing collaborations with me on YouTube, and none of my friends wanted to do that. Nobody in my day-to-day life wanted to do that. I knew people in real life who watched my channel. They told me things I said on my channel. And then I asked them, do you want to be with me on the channel? Oh, no, we can't do that because we need to be private. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So you can watch my channel. But I didn't even know you were watching my channel. You were watching my channel without even telling me. Like, you went and looked for it. Okay? You said something that I said on my channel. And then I'm like, well, do you want to be on it with me? Oh, no, we can't do that. I'm just like, oh, okay, whatever. You're funny. Yeah. And I don't mind having a YouTube channel, but this is where I'm careful. I talk about hair, right? I talk about some of my experiences, but I keep things kind of vague. Like, for example, I'm not going to say exactly where I live on my channel because I just don't think I need to do that. It's nobody's business. Like, because, honestly, you don't need to know my exact location, and you're a creeper if you want to know. Like, what are you going to do with that information? Be a creepy creeper? Like, so I won't tell I know some people that live in really big cities, they might own a restaurant. Like, okay, I'm vegan, so I follow, like, Cheap Lazy Vegan, and I know she says, like, she lives in Calgary, and I kind of get why she's going to say that because she has a business there, like a restaurant, and I really like her channel. Shout out to Cheap Lazy Vegan. Like, I'm just sharing some channels I like. She does a lot of cool vegan content. She's Korean, Canadian person, so I can see why somebody like her would say where they live on YouTube because they have a business and, like, they're promoting their business, but I don't have, like, a physical business, so I'm not going to give you my location where I'm at. That would be weird. Why would I do that? But yeah, I would get comments like, where's your exact location? And I'm like, I'm kind of vague. Like, I'll tell you I live in Southern California, but it's really none of your beeswax exactly where I live. Why? Why do you need to know that? You don't. That's kind of my view on it. Maybe I I will go for it once and see. I'm young. I'm still young, but I look a lot younger than people think. And I'm kind of like, I never thought I would be one of these women. Like when I was younger, I always thought that was okay. I always thought it was weird when people were like, pretend, like I don't pretend to be a certain age. I don't. Like I think people who listen to my videos who had similar life experiences, they're gonna be able to kind of pinpoint my age. But I'm kind of a little bit more vague about my exact age. Like I think I talked about it a little bit on Aya's channel, but here the reason I don't talk about it is because I'm still relatively young where I can do it for sure. I mean, Crystal Gale has floor length hair and she I think is 70 now, actually. So I can still do it. I have much more time to do it in. I just don't tell people my exact age because sometimes people think I'm a lot younger than I am, and I still get carded sometimes. If I buy a lottery ticket, I really used to get carded like 10 years ago. Something happened to me once, like 10 years ago. I got a lottery ticket and I was wearing sunglasses. Three things happened that made me realize they didn't want to sell me a ticket. Ma'am, you're 16 years old. I can't sell you a lottery ticket. I'm like, I'm not 16. Ma'am, I need to see your ID. So I hand her my ID. Ma'am, take off your sunglasses. I think you're pretending to be 16. And I'm like, I'm not. And then she scans my card. She goes, oh, ma'am, our credit card reader is down, so I can't sell you a ticket today. And I'm like, oh, okay. I know around that time recently, this is the funny part, I know there had been a undercover sting where they were selling liquor to minors, and maybe they were scared I was like some sort of undercover agent that was trying to buy a lottery ticket. But my ID clearly showed I was over 18, and she kept telling me I was 16. It was pretty funny. I was like, clearly in my 20s. Like she was just like, yeah, like, and then my mom too. Like my mom, like was about 50, and people thought she was in her 30s. So yeah, I look a little bit younger than my age, and I kind of embraced that. So I never thought I was going to be one of those kind of women that like want to say what my exact age was. But I'm still young enough. I can definitely grow my hair long. I think for sure. But it's a good experiment, and I think I'm going to do it. I just don't want to do it the way I did last time. Like, I shouldn't have been putting henna all over my hair, and that was where I went wrong. I know, isn't that funny, right? Like, what are you going to do with a helium tank clit? Like, they're being so weird. Like, oh, yeah, you're going to go. I know some people do bad things with helium, but really, that happened to me at Walmart, too, buying for, like, back when I used to have a container garden in my backyard. I just wanted to buy some fertilizer for my plants, and then they were like, ma'am, are you buying this? Like, they actually asked me once, are you buying this for bad reasons? I'm like, I'm buying it for my garden. We need to see your ID, please. And they like ID'd me to buy fertilizer. And another time, this woman was like, I could tell she was a mother. Maybe she looked younger. Ma'am, we need to ID you to buy the Sharpie. She goes, I have kids. Like, my son's a teenager. Ma'am, it doesn't matter. If we think you're under 18, we need to ID you to buy Sharpies. Because at that time, they decided that they couldn't sell Sharpies to people under 18 anymore in California because they might go tag a building. As if somebody over 18 wouldn't do that. Like, I would say most graffiti was by, like, little homeless people running around, tweakers in our city, just drawing on the buildings. But this woman was, like, clearly, she had to at least be in her late 30s. And they wouldn't sell her Sharpies without showing her ID. God. But here's the funny part. You can just go to the Dollar Tree and buy a dollar Sharpie. And they're not going to ID you at the Dollar Tree, but, you know. You know, when it came to taking care of my hair, my mom, like, she knew a few things. Like, she would braid my hair, and she was, you know, nice about it. But my mom has a completely different hair texture than myself, so I had to learn, like, how to take care of wavy hair just through my own trial and error. Because my dad has curly hair, but like I said before, I don't know. Like some guys really take good care of their hair, but I don't think he did. Like he, well, when he wore it down like curly in a ponytail, it was better. But when he started like hiding it in a hat, because like some of the building inspector people, when he was an electrician, didn't like a man that he looked kind of darker Middle Eastern who had curly hair. Like they didn't like that. They were like, "Who's that hippie with he had belly?" So like he started hiding his hair up, and I was like, I don't think that was healthy. I think he either should have kept wearing his hair down because he wasn't like brushing it enough, and it was just getting tangled up. That's another thing, okay, about wavy curly hair. You kind of do have to detangle it, and you have to make sure it doesn't tangle up because it's gonna like just lock up into one big lock. And that's kind of what happened to his hair. And then he's like, it's like all in one lock, and it wasn't even like an attractive lock. It was just kind of like a big amorphous lock. And I'm like, Dad, you shouldn't have done that. Like you should have like just kept wearing your hair curly, like in a ponytail. But he didn't really listen to me. So I feel like he could have taken better care of his hair. My mom was really good at braiding, but like when it came to brushing, she would just take like a paddle brush. If she brushed her hair, and she would just go boom, 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 and she did it fast. And like she would always do it fast. And I didn't like that because I would feel like the pain on my scalp. And like the people with straight hair, like they can comb their hair a lot faster because they just don't have any resistance. There isn't resistance. Like when your hair's straight, even after you wash it, there's no resistance. Now, if your hair is wavy and curly and you wash it, it starts to like clump together and have a curl pattern or a wave pattern. You can't do that. In fact, people with really curly hair, they go in the shower and they get conditioner and like this kind of comb really, and they just like they by section, they're using conditioner to comb through their hair by the sections. And I used to kind of sometimes brush through my hair by section in one big section, but I realized I really can't do that because with my hair being wavy, each section has its own little like wave pattern, right? And you kind of need to just do the combing by each section. I think, like for me, that's what works. Oh, that's cool. I still think my dad could have like honestly though, but here's the thing about my dad. Like in his parents' generation, people all had short hair, okay? So his dad had short hair and he just grew his hair long because when he got out of the Air Force, he wanted to have long hair and be like a hippie or something, you know. He wanted to have that look, so he started growing his hair long. But when he was in the Air Force, like he would do different things. Like he would get pomade, like slick it back to make it look short. I guess he went to a lot of different, but I don't think he ever really learned how to take care of long hair. That wasn't like his goal. So I even knew as a kid, like things. I'm like, you know what? You need to take better care of your hair. He's like, yeah, I don't care. I want to have long hair, but I don't care. I'm like, yeah, if you're gonna have long hair, man, you need to take care of it. And even though my hair is wavy rather than curly, I know like a lot of my hair characteristics are similar to his. So I realized, nobody, you need to keep your hair moisturized. And I'm like, even right now, even though it's been like 2 weeks since I washed my hair, I realized I need a little bit of oil right now in this section because I'm like, it feels dry because every 5 minutes I feel like I need to put more lotion on my hands. And I'm just like, the air is so dry today. And the humidity, I think yesterday was 29% or something. I'm just like, it's dry. And I feel like everything, like, so I just feel like I kind of need to. I just got some water under my roots recently. I think I'm going to wash my hair probably today or tomorrow. But yeah, I do need to keep my hair moisturized as well. Oh, wow. That's really really interesting. That's cool. So you don't have to detangle it in the shower or anything like that. Well, she's a stylist. She knows what she's doing. I'm talking about like other people I've seen like with curly and maybe hair, like what they're doing. So I guess there's different ways of doing it. Oh, good. I'm glad. That's cool. That's very, very cool. I just think like most men though, like I don't think they really like some men do, but a lot of men don't really look to see like exactly what they could do to take better. Like even like some people think, okay, this isn't a popular opinion, but they're like putting lots of pomades and gels like men with short hair. And that can't be good for your hair either. Even if your hair is short, to be putting all that stuff on your hair. Because even if I do put stuff in my hair, I like to be very careful and cautious about what it is I'm putting in my hair, you know? But like some of the things, like some of the styling gels, I don't think are the best for our hair health and our scalp. And even things that say they're for your hair, you have to be careful because I did that leave-in conditioner with shea moisture, and maybe it's good for some people, but I think it gave me buildup, and I will never use it again. Because I've noticed, yeah, ever since I stopped using it, yeah, I don't think that was good, and I didn't even put it on my scalp, but it just kind of made its way up to my scalp, and I feel like it kind of gave me, and I never had buildup before, so I kind of attribute it to that. I did read some reviews that people got buildup from it. So I'm just back to my old method of using oil. You know, I'm not gonna use any kind of leave-in conditioner. I mean, sometimes I use a detangling spray, but even that I can use a little bit less. I don't need to use too much, you know. And oil, I think for me, I just feel like oil works the best for me. Oh, okay. So you do in the shower the day before. Yeah, you're right. I guess like the average guy, they just care about that. But even some guys are lazier and they're just like, yeah, short hair, that's all. I'm like, okay. But yeah, when it comes to women, and this is not a sexist thing, because I'm not a feminist, I'm a humanist, I always say this. It's just like, okay, I have short hair, and I've seen some guys, okay, I saw your pictures, friends, because you had a social media page, and I'm not ragging on you, but you just had average short hair. You weren't doing anything exceptional with it. But yet you came to me and told me I look better than most ideal when my hair's loose. Whatever. Whatever. I don't care. Like, I'm like, here's a mirror. Do you want a mirror? I'll reflect it right back onto you. Why don't you go look at your own social media? Oh, there was a guy on a tractor. Like after I cut my hair, and he came to like that Facebook page I have. All it is a like a shell for promoting what I do on YouTube. And he said, "I hate short hair girls," and I'm like, "My hair is not short. It's like a little bit below waist length. How is that short?" He goes, "I hate short length hair girls," and I'm like, "Well, obviously you're blind." He goes, and I said, "Plus the picture of you on the tractor, you're a guy with short hair," and he goes, "I don't have short hair. My hair is all the way to my bum." And I said, well, maybe if you looked, my hair was like to here at the time when I cut it. It's about the same length. So what is your big complaint? And no response. I'm just like, okay. But yeah, there would be these guys with short hair and they're just average. They don't do anything amazing with their hair. And then be like, oh my God, why did you cut your hair? Like, how dare you? And look, I love having long hair. But I guess I could have just not explained why. I probably should not have explained why back in September I cut my hair and just kept it more of a mystery and it's none of your business, men on a stick that have big complaint hour. I don't care. Like, I'm not needing to complain. I'm just talking about different phenomena on social media or in life because I've seen people in real life do what they do on social media. It's like this whole one up thing. Like, I'm better than you because I do this. And to me, all it is a little game is I feel insecure today. So I'm going to tell somebody I like this, but not that. That's all it is. It's or maybe some people just legitimately like loose hair and they want to see that and they're just expressing their preferences. But a lot of the time, it's not a preference. It's just a dumb thing. And anybody that would tell you, "Oh, you look pretty when you do that," if they say that, boom and bye. Don't have time for you guys. Boom and bye. Oh, that's cool. Very cool. Time after time. La, 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 la. Yeah, I'm not a linguist, but I'm reading a book about the history of the Arabs, which actually, what Arabs are people who speak Arabic. They're not all Arabs, by the way. There's many different groups, like within like the Arab speaking culture. But I'm just trying to learn some words, and I learned that Assad meant dog, like dog, not no lion. Assad meant lion, and what meant dog? Khalib. I could be wrong. I'll have to look that up again later. And that souk means market, but it also means the act of driving the animals, like the camels, to the market or whatever livestock. So it was just a history book, but I'm like, you know what? I kind of like to learn a few more words in Arabic and Turkish. I'm not saying that I'm ever going to be linguist level because I would actually have to put in the time to study. And I don't want to claim I'm going to do something unless I actually start doing it. But I just have fun learning a few words here and there. You know, it's kind of cool. You're absolutely right. It's very rare for people to get below a certain length, and we should definitely have respect for those people. Totally. Like, and I know some people with straight hair even that they can't grow their hair long. Like I've said that before. Like, I knew some people that were just like they're straight up. They're just white um, Americans, and they just cannot grow their hair beyond shoulder length. It doesn't matter what they do. And these people are not people that are doing crazy things to their hair. They're not bleaching their hair. They're not even using hot air on their hair. They just literally say genetically they can't grow their hair beyond a certain length. Like that's and they've tried. Like one woman, I think she said on a forum, like she had tried for years doing everything, like just everything to take care of her hair. And her hair genetically, when she treated it like the best that she ever could, only got to shoulder length. Like that's as long as her hair would grow. She just, and that was like a lot of work for her. And then other people, their hair is going to grow a little bit easier. But I do think this is the difference. I think if you take better care of your hair, you still are going to see it. Like, you know, my hair looks great, I think, because I take good care of my hair. And I'm not saying that my sister's hair isn't not beautiful, but she has the exact same genetics as me. But she believes her hair is thin, okay? It doesn't really gonna grow beyond a certain point, although she cuts it all the time. Because, you know, what she does to her hair is like she believes her hair has to be like pin straight every day. So she washes it every single day. Even though her hair is straighter, it's it has a little bit of wave to it, but she thinks like she has to wash it every single day and then she has to flat iron it. And I'm like, why do you do that? She goes, because I want my hair to sit perfectly straight. And I'm like, but why? And then she'll put her hair up in a ponytail and like do it, like fold it over. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, why do you flat iron your hair straight just to do that? Or people, okay, they'll have curly hair, and I think their natural, beautiful texture curly hair is really pretty. So they take that, they flat iron it, okay, so it's straight, and then they use a curling wand to change like the curl pattern of their hair to a different type of curl pattern. And I'm like, I don't know, I thought your original curl pattern was pretty, but I kind of just like natural hair. I'm weird like that though. Like, I mean, I will curl my hair in the past occasionally, and that's fun. But I would never like apply heat to my hair to change it so that to recurl it. Like, I'm not gonna do that. Like, I'm not gonna like change the pattern of my hair to be different if I'm gonna wear it curly. Like, why would I do that? That's just my opinion, though. That's really cool that you're Arabic's enough to have a short conversation and read it. I really do want to learn um, Arabic. I'm not good at sitting aside time to study a language since college, though. You kind of have to do that in school. I don't know, like, so I'm gonna try to see what I can do, but I don't make promises because if I don't do something, I don't want to be like one of these people that said I'm gonna do this and then it didn't work. You know. So I just over time, if I learn words, like for me, I just like to learn the origins of new words, and it teaches you a lot because there's a lot of words in English that come from Arabic, Latin, Greek, and a lot of words in the English language have root words that go back to Greek and Arabic because English is the most bastardized language, they say. Like, it's kind of, that's kind of not a good way to put it these days, you know. But I would just say hybridized language. Like, English takes from everybody. English is not a purist language, okay? It's never been. English is a hodgepodge of everything from everywhere. Like, that's just what the English language is. It may be a Germanic language, but French completely changed English when, you know, you had the Norman conquerors under William come in 1066. That completely changed the language. It made it a more, not exactly not a Germanic language anymore, but had a very big French influx. Plus, even back in Roman times, when you had the Germanic, like Anglo-Saxon language, you had Roman occupation of the British Isles, so you did have some Roman words from those times, you know? Like, every language has had an impact on English, and then the British had an empire, and they acquired words from other languages. So, you know, English is not some purist language, and people that want a purist language, they're not going to find any English. Actually, like Arabic, Aramaic, Hebrew, those are very, like, historically purist languages, not English. Not English. English changes all the time. Hi, how you doing? So I kind of just want to learn Arabic. I think it'd be cool, but I'm not one of these people that's gonna like sit down and study it for hours. But I like learning new words. It's kind of fun. It is kind of fun. So today, what I want to convey to you is nobody has a hegemony on what's awkward and not awkward. Actually, the people who claim to be less awkward are often narcissists. There are people that like to, that's actually what I got down to when I finally figured it out. I don't know why I pandered to narcissists in the past. Like, don't ever let a narcissist into your mindset. They're the kind of people that want to like make you feel bad about something. That's the hallmark of a narcissist. They'll build you up and then tear you down, build you up and then tear you down. And I realized when you just stop acknowledging the narcissist, because the narcissist never wished you well and they didn't want beautiful things in life, then you are free. And you go quiet on your Western front and you have nothing more to do with narcissism or narcissists. People who want to tear you down and then say something nice to make you feel good about yourself, but then in the next minute tear you down, their insecurity is their blanket that they use like in the form of like gaslighting people. And what else do they do? They just play little mind games like that, and you don't have to acknowledge their mind games on any level. And I kind of speak out against this, and I'm going to every day. You know why? We need to bring the narcissist down. Yes, we need to show them for who they are. Do not be dazzled by a narcissist. Like if somebody says something nice to you one day, and then the next day they act aloof, but then the next day they're acting like all friendly again, don't fall for their game. I know like the toughest nails, more like stoic people, they're not going to fall for that. But some of us are more sensitive people. And when somebody says something nice to us, like on a consistent basis, even if one day they act more aloof and they say something kind of rude, we kind of are willing to think, well, maybe they had a bad day or something. And then sometimes the narcissist will apologize to you. But it's all fake. Don't fall for it. And it's okay if you did. But going forward, I want everybody to ignore narcissists. Let narcissists go quiet into the night. Just ignore them. Like, do anything you can to get them far away from you as possible. Keep them away. You don't want to see them. You don't want to hear from them, because narcissists do not deserve anything good. They may have their fake whatevers in life, but let them go be fake with all the other people that want to put up with that crap. I don't know. I don't want to play mind games with a narcissist. Like, I think, who would want to spend years of their life, like, sitting there while a narcissist plays a mind game where some days they don't talk to someone to make them stew? Or one day they're nice and one day they're not. That is not normal behavior. Like, man, it is not normal. And I think nowadays, I hate to say it, even though there's a few videos talking about narcissism and bringing it to light, I think a lot of people during the pandemic are willing to kind of let these things go. And they're like, well, maybe like social events or something makes people feel stressed or something, and that they have to have that erratic experience. But it's not true. No, you're very intelligent, and your teacher was a narcissist. You know why? Because somebody that needs to tear anyone down at any time, they're a narcissist. And I'm so glad that you stood up to that, honestly, it's a game. And I do think nowadays, yes, I think there have always been narcissists, but I think we're seeing them more on social media because, they have a platform. They can get on here and they can say whatever. My narcissistic experiences were just with people in real life, where they would act one way one day, and then the next day would be aloof. And one even told me he created this game where, like, sometimes, like, he would ignore somebody to see what their reaction was. And I was like, oh yeah, that's weird. You're weird. And like, at the time, I kind of thought he was attractive. And I know some people are really good at saying, oh, well, I could never be attracted to someone like that. I don't know. I don't know why I used to think this person was attractive. Maybe physically they're attractive, but their behavior is like boom, 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 bad. And I don't have time for narcissists. And I'm like, I just feel like sorry for the people in their life who have to be their friends and family members, who have to like indulge that. And I'm like, gosh, thank God, like, eventually the good thing about a narcissist is they kind of lose interest in you and they float away. And you can be so happy that they have floated away to another location and they will never like really bother you again. But occasionally, sometimes like a narcissist will, like, they'll play a little mind game with you. And I'm like, I don't have time for your mind games. Know your mind. Either I am somebody that that you can treat with respect, or I'm just like, okay, bye-byes. Bye-byes. Like, I just, like, when it comes to narcissists, I just, in my opinion, in general, I don't really talk to a lot of people who I think are narcissists. I think I sometimes just would get taken in by somebody that would be friendly to me and kind to me, but then when they would do that little mind switch thing and want to play that game with me, I'd be like, why do you do that? But here's the thing, just take it all away, take it back. Don't let them have that. If anybody wants to bring someone down, but then the next day they act friendly, like they're just playing a mind game. And your mind game is Jack, you know what? No, you're not a narcissist. Can I tell you why? You're not a narcissist. I'll tell you what a you're definitely not. Okay, so a narcissist is like somebody that's very grandiose. They go into social situations and they start like befriending someone in a very like where you kind of think that they actually care about you. Like they'll say really nice things to you, like, "Oh, I really like your jewelry. Oh, I really like your style." And they might like it. They might be attracted to it, but they'll say really ingratiating things to you. Okay, so you get to know that person, and then you have an interaction with them. And then the next day they act like, oh, that wasn't really that big of a deal, it's not. And you're like, oh, okay, that's weird. Because you took all this time, you built things up. Oh, what are you doing for New Year's Eve? Like they will build things up like that. And then the next day, like, not a big deal. And then like you kind of were like, oh, that kind of hurt my feelings. That's weird. So you go on, and then they bring it up again. Like they'll hoover you in, okay? And then they come back, like, and they'll be like, "Oh, I decided I really wanted to be with you. I thought about it. Like, if I could do it again, I'd want to be with you. Oh, I'm more sexually attracted to you than anybody in my entire life." Yes, my narcissist told me that he had the most sexual attraction to me of anybody in my entire life. That he just thought I was so beautiful, and he really liked me a lot. But then the next day he'd flip and say something like, "Oh, you're awkward." And play like a really childish mind game. And that's what a narcissist is, okay? They play the childish mind games, over like a period of time. And yeah, the way that you learn to release them is just by not talking to them. And you cut them off at the base. And I don't know, like other people would be like, well, you never would have had that experience with a narcissist if you had just cut them off at the first time and never talked to them again. That's true. I never should have talked to the narcissist again. But that's just an example of like sort of a quasi-romantic narcissist. There's other kinds of narcissists out there, but they will try to be ingratiating to you, and then they'll try to flip it, and then they'll try to ingratiate you again, and then they try to flip it, and then they always make it seem like there's a reason, like bad timing or something upset them. That's a narcissist. So I don't think you're a narcissist, but yeah, I just talk about these experiences because I like to warn people, like if you encounter something like that, and I think it's like a life experience I had that might be of value to you. I don't know. But anyway, thanks for watching.